Welcome back to the Running for Resilience podcast. In studio, I'm joined by the man who's fixed my hip pain, founder of Peak Health in Farrer, back for his second episode on the pod, Mark Trbojevic. Mark, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, mate, good to have you back. And joining us online is his cousin, Manly, New South Wales and Kangaroos legend, Jake Trbojevic. Jake, welcome to the pod.
How are you guys? Thanks for having us.
Mate, thank you. Thanks for fitting us in. And yeah, glad we've been texting for a few months. Glad we finally the stars aligned and we could do this.
I know, we finally got an hour where we could all get online, so it's worked out well.
Get online and get aligned. Very good. Well, we'll start with Mark, mate, because you're the one that teed this up. Why did you want to interview your cousin? And what you've obviously got some stuff you want to ask Jake, but why did you want to get him on? And
well, obviously in terms of running for resilience, it's a bit about the mental health side of things. I know Jakey is a bit of an emotional character when it comes to footy and just life in general. With footy, obviously there's many ups and downs. You go to the highest level playing for Australia, New South Wales, and then the next week you're getting smashed by 40. And I know for a lot of people that you guys have running for resilience, into sport, active, and it's just getting a bit of insight from that elite level that everyone goes through the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're playing for Australia or you're just the average Joe. They're all going through the same thing, and it's nice to see everyone going through it and being together, supporting each other.
No, awesome. Well, Jake, I don't know what Mark told you about running for resilience, but I'll give you a 10-second what we are. We are a charity that's trying to eliminate suicide in the ACT. And how we're going to do that is by sharing stories that reduce stigma about talking about mental health, but also putting on as many free community events as we can. Running events is probably what we're best known for, but we've got pickleball, yoga for resilience, all sorts of stuff. So and this podcast started as an extension from our newsletter. We started a run 6 years ago at the dock at my pub, and all these people started coming, and I was saying to Brainy, the founder, I said, mate, who are all these people? Because they're coming up saying hello. And so we started a newsletter to try and get to know people. But then we've now, started a podcast to try to, just get to know people better and share some stories. But I guess, mate, so Jake, for the non-league fans, can you just go back to your early days, and share what it was like being kind of young Jake, and how did you get into rugby league? Were you a sporty kid? Was rugby league the only sport you played? And then, Mark, jump in at any point. Maybe you got any questions?
I will.
No, firstly, I just want to say that's unreal what you guys are doing. Like Mark told me all about it, so I definitely wanted to, come on here. It's obviously a great cause, so I want to say congrats on that. And then just with the starting footy, I actually when I was 6, my mum and dad put me into Pittwater soccer, so I played soccer for a year, right, when I was 6, and I was one of those kids who was at the back playing with his shadow, never really sort of got involved. I was just one of those kids. Anyway, the next year when I was 7, they put me into rugby league, and I was still a little bit shy the first few sessions. It took me a while to get out there and that sort of
under
thing.
sevens? They tackle under sevens?
Yeah, it was back in the day. It was tackle. Yeah, now I think they've sort of changed it to as they get a bit older, it's tackle. But it was back then, and then got into rugby league then, and then loved it ever since. And then all my brothers, I think they started playing because I was playing at 7. They started when they were 5 or 4 or whatever, and we've just been a rugby league family ever since. And it's sort of been ingrained in us. Mum and dad were Dad was president of the Mona Vale Raiders where we played. Mum was on the canteen. We're down there every Friday, Saturday, and just we loved it. We loved it. It was more than just playing your game. It was like a community, that sort of thing. It was a special part of our life, and that's sort of where we developed our love for rugby league.
So you had no chance. It was league.
Yeah, no chance.
Rugby, no rugby, mate, at all. What's the Newport Dolphin? What's the rugby club?
Newport Breakers.
Yeah, Warringah Rats.
The Warringah Rats. No, we'll never rugby league. Never rugby union. Dad played rugby league for the Narrabeen Sharks on the Northern Beaches, and he actually played AFL as well. So for the Manly Wolves. So he tried to get us into AFL. Tom played a little bit of AFL. It probably suited him a bit more, sort of tall, athletic, that sort of thing. Didn't really suit me, all that running. So I didn't really play much AFL. But it was league and AFL. But we loved league. It was just our favourite sport. In the summer we played cricket, but league was always our favourite. We just grew up loving it, as Mark will tell you. It was just like literally a religion to us. So,
and what was it? What was it about league that you loved? Is it just the tackling or the?
Just obviously the mates you make, and like when when I talk about Mona Vale Raiders, it was just like, it was more than the game you played. Like, Dad would take us. So Friday night was everyone trained, the whole club trained. We're down there. Dad was always on the barbie, so we're first there, we'll last to leave. Then Saturday morning, we'd go down, we'd set the field up. And as we got older, our game got later, but we'd just play the game whenever. And we'd watch every other game and be down there the whole day at Newport Oval. So it was just like, I don't know, it was just really special to us. We met so many great people and just, yeah, obviously you play your game, want to do well, but then you just watch every other grade. And it was just, really, really special. And yeah, we just loved it. So,
Okay,
yeah.
so you're indoctrinated at a young age. Did you play league did you go like Narrabeen Sports or anything? What did you play league at school, and what was your path into the NRL? Like, did you get signed straight out of school, or what was that?
Yeah, so I went to Pittwater High, so it wasn't a sports school, just a local high school in Mona Vale. So we didn't really play much school sport, but I was in like the Manly development squads. So you can just go in them when, I think from definitely 14, but it might have been a little bit younger. And then through there, I progressed into the Harold Matthews, which was under 16s at the time. It's now under 17s. And then through to SG Ball, which was under 18s, and then under 20s. And then I was really lucky, right? Because we all were. We grew up in Mona Vale. We played our local juniors we played our reps juniors for Manly, and then we all played first grade for Manly. So when I say we all, I mean me and my brothers. So it's been a really nice journey for us, seamless. You know, we've never had to leave the Northern Beaches, and yeah, it's been really special, and we're actually very lucky.
And I remember growing up, from the get-go, your tackles were insane. I remember watching grand finals after grand finals. You would be smashing the players, winning every year for the Mona Vale Raiders, as well as your brothers. I remember Tommy coming on and scoring 5 tries every year. From the get-go, you could see you had talent, and it's just you've gone to the next level, obviously.
Well, as I said, we loved it, and I was lucky, right? So I had the same coach. So when I say I started at Mona Vale, I started at Mona Vale Raiders when I was 7, under 7s, and my last game for Mona Vale I was under 17s. I had the same coach the whole way through, right? And he was unreal, you know. He sort of taught us all that from a young age. He was so passionate about the game, and just he gave us obviously a great sort of insight and a great learning for the game from such a young age, which I think is really important. And then, lucky enough, as we got older, we started playing Sundays. He started to coach on Saturdays, where he coached some of my younger brothers like Tom, Luke, and Ben at a later age. So they all got his coaching as well. So that definitely really helped us at a young age. We learned our tackle technique and that sort of thing. Tom had the natural talent. He was scoring tries every time he touched the ball from a young age. But it was just really, really good learning for us. Really great sort of base for us, and we just loved it.
And then, so obviously, you guys loved it. Like I said, indoctrinated. Is there anything surprised you early on in the NRL when you finally made it to the big ranks? Like, you obviously been playing, you knew that you're playing. What's the comp? Not Northern Beaches, Met North, I think, was what the rugby, that area was called. But what's the comp on the Northern Beaches called in rugby league?
Just Manly Ringer, yeah.
Manly Ringer, yeah, okay. So then, what was it like? Yeah, how'd you find the NRL early on? And did you play Adam Cuthbertson? Was he around? He's a fair bit older.
A few years older.
Yeah. I played with Cuthbo, but when he played rugby on Saturdays and then league on Sundays.
He's a bit older than me, but he actually went to Pittwater High School, so I heard a lot about him. So he went to the same school as me. But the NRL, first time I played it, so I've been playing under 20s all year, right? And then I debuted round 26, 2013, right? So Manly were comfortably in the top 4. Jeff Tuvey rested heaps of players because they were already in the top 4. It was the last round. Me and Clint Gutherson, we got to debut on the same day. And I've been playing under 20s all year, and I played about 10 minutes that day. And honestly, I've never been so tired. Just the pace of the game, the physicality, and I think the nervous energy as well, because I sat on the bench for the first 55 minutes, obviously, because, I was just happy to play 1 minute. So I was just stoked to be there.
Did you sleep the night before?
No, I was struggling. I remember waking up in the morning going, oh, God, like, it's here. Like, there's no hiding now. I just got to go. And I was, it was...
You would have been pacing back and forth that morning.
I was very anxious. You know what I mean? Very, very anxious. And I don't think that changed my whole career. But the first game is, and I was only 19 at the time. So very nerve-wracking, but it was a very special day, at Brookvale in front of all our family and friends. I got to debut with, Clint Gutherson, who I come through the junior grades with, and I'd burst him at local footy back in the day. So it was a really cool day, a really special moment. And looking back, it was just the pace of the game, the physicality. I just couldn't believe it. Honestly, after about 5 minutes, I'm like, I've got to go off. This is too hard. I'm not up to this. You know what I mean?
Was that against Penrith?
Yeah, it was against Penrith. Yeah. In the last round, as I said, and it was actually year Manly went on to lose the grand final to the Roosters. So would have been cool if we won the
What year was that?
premiership in 2013.
13, okay.
Yeah.
Was that
So, yeah.
Jeff, unless I'm blind, what was that press conference? We used to play that on the Brumbies bus when we were on
the
tour.
investigation. I think that might have been the next year.
Okay,
I think that might have been 2014.
There's
got to be an investigation.
I don't know where we were stuck on Brumbies on tour, and we're stuck in traffic on a bus, and Nick White, like to lift everyone's spirits, played that video on repeat, and the whole team's like, unless I'm blind, what did their TV with bigger ones?
Someone's got to be accountable.
Be accountable for this. But it sounds like your debut's obviously, I think for ask any footy player, your debut is like for your country, for your club, for your state is obviously like a high. What are some of the other highs, mate, of your career?
Oh, well, obviously, what's been really special for me is, so me and Tom, we started playing together like quite young. Like Tom's first game was my 5th game. So we kind of like took it for granted, you know what I mean, coming through, and like we're always playing together. Sorry, in first grade, we're always playing together. And you didn't really realize how special it was. And then wasn't till Ben debuted in 2021, but say 2022, Ben started a game and all 3 of us played together starting, and Ben got 2 tries, where I just like realized how special it was. You know what I mean? I probably took it for granted that I got to play alongside my brother early on in my career because it comes so early. But then seeing Ben come through, fight his own battles, get his own way in there, and you know what I mean, do really well. That was such a proud moment for me, and you know, something probably keeps me going. You know what I mean, getting to play with obviously Tom but Ben, you know, coming in, you know, it makes me really proud. And then I guess the other one is you know, getting to captain the Blues in 2024 to the that was really special. Very surprised, very unexpected, but that was a true honour. That one was.
Unreal, yeah. Well, a bit like LeBron James saying what he's playing with his son keeps him going. Is that like, I couldn't imagine. Yeah, my brother's only 2 years younger than me, but never got to play, or got to play a bit of club footy with him, but never got to play at the peak with him. Any other highlights?
No, yeah, well, obviously getting to play alongside them, but then I think like in terms of just overall joy, in 2019, the Origin decider when Tedesco scored on the bell, that was just amazing at ANZ in front of a massive
I was
crowd.
at that game. That was huge.
Yeah.
Is that one that broke Queensland streak? No. What year was that?
No. This is well up. This is 2019. They broke the streak in 2014. So this one was game 1, they beat us up in Queensland. And then game 2, we played 2019. It was over in Perth.
And Tommy
we had a
was it like 40
really good
points
win.
or something?
We won by about 40. And then the decider, it was 20-8. We're up 20-8. Queensland scored 2 late tries, and it's like, oh no, they've done it. Like they're back. Like we shouldn't have let them back in the game. They got back in the game, and then 30 seconds to go. Like I think Mitch Pearce threw it out to Tom. Tom hit Ferguson down the wing. Like I don't know how he stayed in. Threw it back into Tedesco and scored. It was just honestly, I've never been so happy. Like it was just like such joy.
Because Queensland's done it so many times.
Queensland?
So.
No,
it was at New South Wales. It was at Homebush, but it was just it was like what Queensland had done so many times. You know, we did it, and it was just I don't know, it was so good. And then 2024, the win up there in Queensland, sort of something that hadn't been done.
The decider, that was series decider, wasn't it? That one
series decider in 2024. Yeah, it hadn't been done since 2005, right? And it only been done twice. So that was really special to be a part of. You know, it was obviously a great group, and it was amazing.
Yeah, mate.
This is obviously speaking about the highs there. I know another high was last year. You guys beating Melbourne down there, and you came into the change room and kicked the cans over and got a bit excited. And then obviously there's been a few lows in your career. I know one that I can remember. I think it might have been 2019 possibly when you versed Souths in the elimination final. You guys were up by about 10 or so, 13 to go, and you get Simbin off the ground, and then you guys unfortunately end up losing, getting knocked out. Like with those lows in your career, what have you done to try and get through them and get into the next game? Because most of the time you have to play the next week and get up for it.
Yeah. Look, I haven't done it well. Like I don't have a great answer for you. That's something I've struggled with, Mark. Throughout my career, and obviously the NRL is a long season, and when you're going up and down, it truly is a roller coaster, right? But as sort of I've got older, I've got better at it. Like one thing I'm learning is like perspective, like putting things into perspective. So like at the end of the day, it is just a game. I'm trying to tell myself that sort of thing, and just all you can do is go out and do your best, and like that's all you can do, right? And as you said, most times you've got next week. So I'm really working hard on that, and I've got a lot better at it. But it's something I've definitely struggled with. You know what I mean? And we're lucky; we get lots of help and that sort of thing. But it is something I'm continually trying to work on. Even at my age now, I struggle with the ups and downs. I wish sometimes I'd get jealous of teams like Penrith that just win every week or win the comp every week. You know what I mean? Like it'd just be like, how easy would it be? But it can be very draining at times. It's a very rewarding career. It's very special, but at times it can be tough on you when things aren't going too well.
And what are some things, how does the club help you with that? Like, what are they? I mean, that's one thing I really wanted to, when Mark suggested we get you on, is I'm really keen to know how the NRL, maybe it's different from club to club, approach the mental side of the game, because the All Blacks really led the charge in rugby union around the mental side when I don't know how well you know rugby, but they choked a heap of World Cups, even though they were always the best team. And it wasn't until I think it was probably the 2007 World Cup, they took all their players out of Super Rugby and they got them all fit and strong. They're the fittest, strongest team ever, and they still choked and lost in the quarterfinal. And that was when Richie McCaw said, we got to understand what does pressure and like stress do to our brain and our nervous system, and that's holding us back from performing our best in the biggest moments. So like that's what I was really keen to know and so the All Blacks have done that in rugby, and there's some other stuff they're doing there. But what does Manly do, and is there any stuff like that? I don't know if the Players Association help with, or how does NRL approach that mental side of the game to help players to perform at their best?
Yeah, so from a performance perspective, it's probably more on the clubs, right? So we've got a mental skills coach at Manly. His name's Andrew May. He works with a lot of teams over the years, and he's really good at helping us sort of work out different scenarios, how we're going to handle them, that sort of thing. And he tries to make things individualized, because I find sometimes with these mental frameworks, they can be very broad, but everyone's different. So you got to tailor them to meet yourself. You know what I mean? It's not like one sort of framework fits everyone. You got to work out what works for you. So that's been something we've been working on at Manly. How you deal with certain situations, and how you react to it, and that sort of thing. So Manly work on that. We work on that quite a bit. But in terms of the mental health side of things, the NRL is great with that. Like we've got wellbeing managers at our clubs. Then they've got so many resources through League Ahead and that sort of thing. They've got access to counsellors, help outside of the game. Like there is lots of help from the NRL. So they definitely do a really good. They do really well in that space. It's we're definitely well looked after. Yeah.
How many players would make use of that?
Well, I do. I know I do. I don't actually know how many, but it's definitely There's you got access to counsellors, that sort of thing, and it's really good. Not only for sports stuff, but just life stuff, that sort of thing. It's they definitely do a really good job with that. I've got to give them that.
So not every club has a mental skills coach for like the on-field stuff.
I don't know about every club having a mental skills coach. That's just on the club. But every club would have a wellbeing manager for like your wellbeing outside of the game.
Yeah, okay.
And they put you into like, well, they advise you into careers, that sort of thing. Like you don't have to do it, but when you're younger, you do. But when you're sort of my age, you don't have to. They help you with that sort of thing. And say you're needing help or whatever, they put you in contact with people who can help you. And and there's obviously always courses that are funded by RLPA, League Ahead, that sort of thing, trying to help players develop their skills and get better, just to put them in a better space for life after footy, because it's hard, right? Like I'm 32 now. I'm like obviously know my career's come to an end, and like this is all I've ever done, So it's like it's kind of scary when you get to the end of your career, something you think about. So it's great to have that support, but I've probably got to get better at fully using it. But it's definitely there.
And so what is it like the days off? There's what the rugby league players say, or the player welfare manager, whatever, what puts training stuff on. Like if people are interested in doing like
Oh,
Like if they're
not-
interested in learning more or studying, or like how do they prep you guys for when the end or the time to transition comes?
yeah, so they've got these I'm not sure what they're called, but these like questionnaire things we do. So they gain an understanding of what you like and your interests and that sort of thing. And then they try to guide and advise you to into things. And then if certain courses come up or whatnot, they suggest it. And lots of the times, as I said, it's funded, might be half funded by the RLPA or League Ahead or whatever. So it turns out it's almost free. So they just kind of encourage you into these sort of things and like in into like university, all that sort of stuff. So they are really good, and it is really handy. You know, like there was one the other week that got called off that I was about to do. It was just a coffee course, and I'm like, I'm just going to give it a go. Maybe later in life I might be a barista. So they just things like that, little things like that. And then they've got entrepreneur courses, all that sort of thing. So there's lots of avenues to sort of better yourself, and I think that's the most important thing. Keep your options open.
So they're understanding what players want, because I think a bit of the challenge I know while I was playing was on the days off, the Queen Bee, we called her, she was like our player welfare manager. She'd put stuff on, like we did do a coffee course, and she tried to put stuff on, but it was really hard, I think in two ways, getting guys to get off the golf course and stop playing Fortnite on their days off, try and get them in and do something. But then also, no, certainly for me, there were times I didn't want to think about what was next, because not there's a bit of it, the dawning side of it, but also like, I mean, how do you juggle the being in the moment and making the most of your career and juggling that with, you know, preparing for what's next? Like, how do you juggle that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely hard. Like, there's no easy way. Like, I started doing a few, like in recent years. As I said, I've been thinking about it more and more, and I started doing a few. When I say a few, a couple of university degrees that I just like couldn't fully commit to. Like, just I don't know, but I really wanted to. Like the first one I did, like through the wellbeing manager, I worked out I really enjoyed like helping people, right? So I was like, I'm going to try and be a counselor, right? So I started studying that, and then just I don't know, I found it hard to get back into study with full-time sport, and then I went along the same lines. I transferred that over into school teaching, and I sort of stopped it again. So I wish I had kept it going, but the opportunity's definitely there. You know, it's like you just got to want to. I think you just got to be able to manage your time better. There's lots of people who do it. They study, play sport, and they work out how to do it well. I wasn't great at it in recent years, but it's definitely something that we're getting better with. Yeah.
If there's any encouragement, all the best rugby coaches I pretty much had were all ex-school teachers.
I know, I heard that.
There's something to do about talking to children.
Wasn't Desi a school teacher?
Yep, Des was, definitely. I don't know how. I did
Yeah, so I don't know how that sort of works out, other than I guess coaching really is just teaching league or teaching the sport. So maybe they got the skills of holding people with short attention spans, like keeping their attention and trying to communicate a message simply. Okay, so we talked a bit about like can we go back to that mental skills bit? You would and just give some examples. You're saying like they're helping you walk through scenarios. So what is it like? Like on the field, is it just like visualization stuff? And when you said like that things are sort of obviously we're all different from person to person. I know the All Blacks when they started to lose their cool, they all developed their own reset button in the middle of a game when they felt like they were losing their cool. I think Richie McCoy used to stomp his foot. Kieran Reid would just look at the black dot for a second. Brad Thorne might clap his. They all had like their own sort of reset button. But can you just share a bit more on that? So those mental skills and give some examples on how it differs from person to person.
Yeah, so like things we talk about is like your pre-performance routine, like how you get yourself in the right mindset to play, and that's obviously different for everyone. Like people enjoy doing different things,
music,
that sort of thing. So music, breathing, all that sort of thing, stretching. So you got to work out what works for you. Whether you rock up to the ground, you go out on the field and get a feel for the atmosphere. You just stay in the sheds and channel that sort of energy. It's just like adapting what's right for you, but trying to be consistent with that. So that's something we've worked on. And then in terms of on the field, we've got this low performance mindset and optimal performance mindset. So LPM and OPM we call them. So it's about like when you're not feeling or something goes against you, about trying to change your mindset into OPM. So we try and give ourselves trigger words that will just sort of set you up. So obviously when things go wrong, you don't feel great about it, right? But it's about how we're going to react and move on to the next job. And because obviously what's happened isn't going to help us moving forward, right? So we've got to flick the switch and we've got to move to the next job. And that's different for everyone, right? So you got a couple of trigger words. Some people use breathing. Some people like look into the crowd. As you said, find your feet, stomp your feet, that sort of thing. So I was saying we worked on it training as well, because you can't just go out and do it. I was trying to find what works for you at training. So when things are going against us, get put under pressure at training, how are we going to change our mindset, So something we definitely worked on. But as I said, it's different for everyone. So it's not like go and breathe and you're going to be fine. Like I'm someone who
breathing while we're out there.
Yeah, sorry, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like for me, I dwell on things, right? So I find it hard to get out of it. So I'm just having to, like, I don't really have something I do. I just got to tell myself, like, yeah, I'm filthy that just happened, but now I want to be good. I want to be a good player. I want to finish this game well. So I've just got to move on. So that for me, it's about that. Just looking at the end result and just trying to keep competing.
Yeah, our words were next job. That's what we always used to tell ourselves. If you drop the ball, if you drop the ball or something, it was just next job.
Yeah, so like that's it. And because what's happened isn't going to help you moving forward, right? So, but I'm saying this, I'm not good at this. So this is something I'm still working on, definitely. So
something that's come in the last few years, and I saw Manly's doing it. I think this year and maybe last year as well, is after you score a try, you all cuddle together and do some breath work. What's the go there?
I think it's really good. I reckon it resets you. It lowers your heart rate and just gets you just sort of concentrating a bit more. Like I'm someone who, after we've scored a try or after we've let in a try, I'm very like excited or angry, which is a good thing. You want to be emotional, you want to be yourself, but at some point you got to calm yourself down, reset, and then let's listen to the trainer, listen to the captain. What's our next job? And then we get to that. It's kind of like that. Obviously, we've scored a try, great, but what's our next job? What's our next focus? So we've let in a try, that sucks. What's our next job? What's our next focus? And the breathing sort of is just in between the excitement or the disappointment and allows us to hear the message and then go after our next job.
Yeah, and it gets everyone sort of back in sync when you do it all together, just get you all back on the one page. Okay, is there anything missing with how you think athletes could be prepared for retirement, or like is there even in like you just said, and it's something I struggle when I retired was like you just said, there's this sport is this unbelievable roller coaster, and trying to find the new ride or like what am I trying to say? I mean, yeah, it sounds like they're doing a lot of work on that. Do you think there's anything missing, or is there anything Manly do that you think, without giving away any secrets of the Mighty Eagles, is there anything you guys think you guys do well that, I don't know, that listeners could take into their everyday approach to life? Or
I think in the way they prepare you for life after footy, we've definitely got great resources. So that's not in question. But in
terms of what, like funding for going to do uni degrees, or what do you mean? Like,
yeah, well, obviously
they give you the time away from. What about time away from training, or do they?
Well, during the season, our schedule is quite good, right? We get obviously days off, and particularly with recovery, all that sort of thing. So you do get lots of days off. If you want to do something, you can find a way to do it. It does, like, obviously it's hard being a professional athlete, but there's many guys out there who do it. So it can be done, especially on a part-time basis. And then, as I said, we've got wellbeing officers at our club. We've got education officers, and then we've got lots of funding. So they definitely do the right thing. But I don't know. I don't think anything prepares you to come to the end of a long career professionally and go straight into something. Like, obviously it's great, like, but it is scary without having some kind of, being a bit scary or a bit anxious about it. It's very hard, but they do a very good job at giving you the best opportunities to succeed, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Because when rugby tried, we know they do try to prepare us, but a lot of guys didn't talk about it all that much. And I think, and I lost a teammate who I'd played a World Cup with, a guy by the name Dan Vickerman. He was a bit older than me, and he'd retired before I did. And I had struggled. You talked about just Jake getting sent off in a big game. I got sent off in the biggest game of my life against the Lions, playing for Australia. And, man, that haunted me. That shit haunted me for the rest of my career. And I sadly never enjoyed my footy again because I never I didn't have the tools. One, I didn't talk about it, but I never had the tools to kind of deal with it and process that loss. I know we went back to rugby season and footy season, but then I went back to playing for Australia after that. I don't know. I never reconnected with that love of the game. It became stressful. And just, I mean, social media probably only started 2 or 3, 4 years before that. So I guess, have they given you, they given you guys any tools for overcoming, like dealing with tough losses? And then I guess, and Mark sent me through a question around, obviously, then I'll ask a follow-up about the social media and dealing with all that these days, because that's obviously a bit of a, not just rugby league and rugby,
Everything.
but that's like anyone in the public spotlight, it's something they got to deal with.
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm someone who like take things to heart and take things very personally, right? So, but I've had great use in the resources we talked about earlier, seeing, certain people, therapists, that sort of thing, and in trying to put things into perspective and understand that it is a team game. Like sometimes I walk off feeling like I lost the game for the team, or it's all on me, right? Whereas it's just about putting things into perspective, understanding that it is just a game. Like you're going out there, you've been a consistent player for a long period of time. Just one bad thing isn't making you a terrible player. Everyone doesn't hate you. You know what I mean? So like, just putting things into perspective has been really big for me, and aligning with your values. So when you're not feeling great or you're feeling a bit down or whatever, just realizing, how do I want to be seen? How do I want to be seen as a person, as a player, and just going after that. That's what I've really been working on. I've got a lot of value out of that, going after my values when I'm not feeling great. And I'm just going to keep striving to do that.
And how do you do that? Because I think, and the perspective, give us like, how do you do it? Like, because I guess, I think I look back, my struggle as like you just said, you took it very personally, and I took that loss personally. I felt I let my nation down. But looking back, I think the mistake that I'd made was I'd let my whole identity become Ben the footballer. Like that was, I had a fiance, like I had heaps of other stuff going on, but I don't know, my whole sense of self-worth came from how well I played. And I guess that's what
that's a big one. Separating yourself as a person from yourself as a footballer. And, there's something I should have mentioned earlier. We've done this thing, Find Your Feet. I don't know, you should look at Find Your Feet. Tommy Herschel comes into your club, and he came into Manly. I'm assuming he's gone to lots of other clubs.
Past player or something? Who's Tommy Herschel?
No, he's not a past player. He's just got this program called Find Your Feet. It's unreal. Like if come into our club, just he has a real he leaves, you feel way more connected, you understand people more, and we've been doing that sort of stuff, and that's been great. So
Find Your Feet.
Find Your Feet, yeah. So understanding people's struggles, all that sort of thing, separating yourself as a footballer to as a person, you know what I mean? Like just breaking down that barrier, because obviously we're all proud men and we don't really talk about things very much. So we've got a lot of value out of that. And when we talk about perspective, I think for me it's just realizing that, like, obviously rugby league to me is very important, but at the end of the day, it is just a game. It is just entertainment, that sort of thing. Like I'm going to be, a husband, a son, a brother for my whole life. That's what's more important. I come home, a funny one. I know this is going to sound silly, but I come home one day. We'd versed Canberra. We're up 20-6 at half time, and we ended up losing. Right, it was obviously miserable. Like I felt horrible,
especially Canberra.
Yeah. This was a few years ago at Brookvale. Mark would probably remember it well because everyone sprayed him at work. Anyway, I've come home. I lived in a unit at the time, and I had my 2 stuffies there. And as I walked in the door, I was so sad, right? They went absolutely ballistic. Like, they went off their head. They were so happy to see me. And it's just like, you know what? I'm just going to see myself through the eyes of my dogs. It's all good. Life's all good, So I use that at times when I'm feeling terrible. I was like, at least Miss Staffies love me, or at least my wife loves me, or my parents, So that's what's sort of working for me. But I guess people just put things into perspective their own way, But that's what I've been working on.
What about in terms of people? Are there anyone that helps you get through it? Like, is it your
brothers,
parents, your brothers, your wife? Is there anyone?
Yeah, no, well, definitely. Alex has been she's been great for me. Like, just
is your wife?
Yeah. Sorry, that's my wife, Alex. Yep. Yeah, she's been unreal. Just like obviously I come home, I'm absolutely devastated. But, she's like, we'll talk about it, we'll move on. Life goes on, you know what I mean? You got to move on. And then my parents have always been supportive. And it's great having two brothers. Like, I've got three brothers, but great having two brothers who play alongside me because we go through the same sort of struggles. We go through the same highs, the same lows, and we can, talk about it together. So that's been really good for us. And then, I found a lot of value in recent years in seeing professionals. You know what I mean? They actually really help. And as I said, the NRL will give us that support. So that's been really good.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, and it was what I hit my rock bottom after the pandemic. I retired 2018, but didn't sort of talk to anyone, and didn't talk to anyone. But it wasn't until I was in a really bad way. Reached back, told my wife, and then she said, talk to your dad, and then he said, talk to a friend, and then the friend said, get back in touch with the club, and then the club put me in touch with a sports psychologist here in Canberra, Gayleen Clues. She's done heaps of work. I know the Bunnies and heaps of rugby league clubs, but it wasn't until seeing her that she then eventually sort of gave me the tools to understand sort of why I was in the bad way, and then that once I sort of realised, figured out how I'd gotten there, helped shine a light on a path forward. Sorry, is there anything else? So I've jumped in there, but
no, that's all right. You touched on it earlier in terms of social media and just the media in general. Obviously, you guys can cop it, and they can also cheer on at the same time. Like, how do you go about just putting that to the back of your mind? I know even the past few weeks, the media's been a bit on you as well. Like, how do you cope with that yourself?
Yeah, well, it's tough, right? I'll say, like, obviously last week, I don't go on social media anymore. I just decided 5 years ago or whatever, I'm just not doing it. What's the point? Like, all it is if you do well, yeah, great. But if you don't do well, you just get sprayed. Like, what's the point? You know what I mean? I know I'm out there doing my best. Sometimes
you
do
played
well.
shit. You don't need some strangers telling you.
Sometimes you play well and they tell you played shit. Like, so it's just like, what's the point, right? It's like, I know I'm out there doing my best. I know my worth. I'm just getting off this. And it was a great decision for me. Like, I would advise anyone who plays professionally to not go on social media, unless obviously they make money from it. I understand that, but like, I just don't see the point in it anymore. Like, gives people access to you to just make you feel not good about yourself. So I just don't do it, right? But obviously last week, you talk about lots of media, and as I said, I don't go on anything, so I had no idea. But I got that many messages of people checking in on me.
So what happened last week?
Some of the mainstream media but
I was getting sprayed anyway. I was getting sprayed for something.
What'd you do?
And
what do they accuse you of doing?
Well, I actually don't know, right? Because I didn't hear it. But I got that many messages of people seeing how I was and people sticking up for me. I actually felt really good about myself, so it turned into a positive.
Yeah, the amount of ex-players coming out saying this, like, it's bullshit. Like, the amount of effort you put in, and you're one of the best every week for Manly, and I was saying the mainstream media just, it
turned into a positive. Yeah. but as I said, if no one had messaged me, I wouldn't have known. I generally didn't know. Like, I don't go on Instagram. I just don't go on it. Like, I've just barred myself from it because I didn't see any positive. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of feeling bad because someone said this, and when they don't know what I'm working on, or they don't know, what I'm told to do or what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? So, I just found value in just brushing it.
And what about the younger blokes? Like, how are they, all the younger blokes that are on social media, and do you guys talk to the younger players and helping them? I guess you guys now, social media's been around a while now, so we sort of people know how to handle it better. Certainly I remember when it first came out, we had a team lunch, and everyone, we had one team lunch for Wallabies. I think we're on the Goldie, and almost the whole team was sitting there on their phones. Like, this was only like iPhone hadn't been out very long, and then Instagram, and these were the very early days. Obviously, it's not like that anymore, or it wasn't like that for very long. We sort of soon say, hey guys, this is probably not a great way to interact as a team.
It's still pretty big. Like, I'll tell anyone, like, I don't push it on anyone. I just say, like, this, if anyone asks, this is what I don't do it because of these reasons. It's good for my mental health or whatever. But I understand why they do it as well, because obviously there's a lot of the younger players come through endorsements and people make money from it. So, like, it's hard to take that away from them. But I just think in terms of performance and getting your mind right, there's just not really any point. I don't see much upside into it because either you just get sprayed most of the time, for being honest.
Well, and that's I've gotten to the point where it was like the people say stuff that they would not say to your face. Like, and I've just got to the point where people, if you're going to go and spray someone on the internet, that you don't even know and you're going to spray them, it's more a reflection of that person, that they're in a bad way and they're reacting to whatever it is you or someone out there's having a go. So it's kind of, I wish I'd gotten to this place, because sometimes people spray the dock and they go, oh, the food's shit or whatever. Like they spray us. But yeah, I just wish I'd gotten to that place much earlier in life, that if something like there's giving constructive criticism and constructive feedback, but the people that just go on a rant, on a tear, because they've got their phone and they've got that access to you and they're trying to make you feel bad, that says a lot more about them than what you're out there doing.
I agree. And like some of it you read, it's just like not even right. Like it's just like you don't understand how I'm coached, what we're trying to achieve. Like it's just wrong. So like it's just no point reading it. And just as you said, I think it's more a reflection on them. If that's how, what makes them feel good about themselves, messaging you or writing something about you just to make you feel bad, that's on them. And I'm not going to read it.
Yeah, 100%. That's the right thing to do. Just ignore it and do your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of, like, you've had a few injuries, or more concussions in the last few years.
Yep.
Obviously, you got the rehab, you got the strength and conditioners, you got the physios. How do they get in terms of mindset, returning to play? Because obviously getting that first hit, getting that first tackle can be a bit daunting, especially if you've done an ACL as an example, getting back on the field for the first time. Does the club do anything to support that side of things?
Well, they definitely support you physically. Like you get the best treatment, you get brought back. Great. Like for me, with all my concussions, we obviously had a look at what was going wrong. And over the off season, I did a lot of tackle techniques. So obviously I was getting my feet in the wrong position, which led to my head getting in the wrong position. So doing a lot of tackle technique, I really strengthened my neck, because there's a lot of science behind if your neck's stronger, it can help concussion.
Less whiplash or something, or
I'm not sure what they said.
Diminishes the impact. So if you're stronger in the neck, potentially it's going to help a little bit. Yeah.
If you can get any help, I was at the stage where I'm going to give it a go, right? So I was really worked on my neck strength, and then obviously the headgear. So we really went after that, and then obviously mentally we've got people around the club who can help you out. And I think also being in a sports environment, there's always people who have been through these things. So there's always people to lean on and people who have experienced it. So there's definitely lots of support around, and being in a team environment that all the boys really get behind people when they get injured or when they're out and that sort of thing. So I think people do find a lot of support, but it probably is hard when you're going through a long rehab and you feel like there's no end goal or whatever, and just so many small sessions, so many sessions you got to do over, 6 months or something if it's an ACL, and just you don't see an end goal. That probably is really hard, but there is lots of people around you.
And so your club works hard to keep you connected with the team, even though you're on a totally different training schedule. And
they definitely work hard to sort of align the training schedules. Like lots of the time, they'll work out. So say a rehab, they're on a different schedule, as in like we'll have weights, field, whatever, but they'll work out so their weights can be at the same time, but they might obviously a different program. When we're on field, they'll be doing the running, but they'll be on the side, obviously on another field, whatever, doing their conditioning or their kind of rehab running. So they do try and connect it all up. And then we obviously at training, when you're there all day, but you're not training all day. So you got lots of time to, get around the boys and that sort of thing and do things together.
Awesome. Keeping part of the team. I guess that's why we play. We love being around the boys.
That's right. Yeah.
Mate, more than anything, that was, And and you're probably say the same when you retired, but when you look back, it was the people you played with, absolutely the people you had the big wins with. That's like the things that stick out most to me. When I think of those big matches, it's not just that we won, it was like the plays that your teammates, when they put their body on the line to make the tackle, or even little stuff in the week leading up to the game. Like I remember a World Cup win when we won a quarter final. One of my favourite memories was rooming with my mate Pat McCabe that whole week, and we were both with Paddy. I had a bad back. He had to get a shoulder reco for the tournament, but we were both pretty dosed up to the eyeballs on Tramadol to get through and we just go to training and go back to the hotel room and watch Seinfeld. But to then see how he went and played that weekend against the Springboks when they all knew he had a bung shoulder and they sent all the traffic down his channel and he sat every single one of them on their backside. That's just like the proudest. I don't know. That's one of the highlights, I guess, in my career. Shout out to Paddy Mack if he's listening. One last question from me, and then we've got a new segment where we've got a few of our listeners have sent a few questions in, mate. So we've got a lot of league fans down here in the nation's capital in the Running for Resilience community. Final question from me. What would you tell a young player coming through to the NRL? What would you tell them?
Yeah, no, my thing now is just to enjoy it. Like, sometimes it just, I don't know, it gets the better of you. Like, you overthink everything. You know, mentally it ends up quite hard. You just got to enjoy it. That's when you play your best footy. That's when you feel your best. As I said, when you're mentally feeling great, that's when I think people do their best work. So my thing is just enjoy it. It's just a game. You're out there having fun. You get, obviously we're lucky enough to get paid to do what we love, but you're doing what you love. Go out there, have some fun, enjoy it, and that's when you're at your best. So that's my number one.
Mate, 100%.
I just got one more question as well. When you first came on the scene, you're with the grand. They just finished the grand final against the Roosters. Was it that year when you first came in?
My debut was 2013. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were with Glenn Stewart, Brett Stewart,
Watmow.
Yeah, a few legends in the Manly team. What's the difference between that team when you first started to the team currently?
Oh, that's a tough. Well, obviously they were a very successful side, so they were multiple premierships, just winners. You know what I mean? Like, that was very cool to sort of see the first start out when they were sort of at the back end of their career. You really got a good understanding of why they were so successful, how tight they were. That sort of thing. They were just great rugby league players.
Are they still involved in the club? Do they still keep them around?
Yeah, no, they're definitely all around. Not like in a everyday capacity, but they're still all around, still involved. Very passionate about the club. You know what I mean? I learned a lot about what the club was built on from those sort of guys. How passionate they are. It's just very, very special. I understand why they were so successful as well. They were very, very, very good players. Just
What is the Sea Eagles built on?
Oh, I think like hard work, just passion. I think the Manly community is just, I don't know, really tight, that sort of thing. They just get behind each other, back each other. I think they back in their day, obviously you can't now, so I'm not saying this, but they just played by a code, you know what I mean? They just backed each other. They just, even like, you think of the Battle of Brookie, I'm not looking for a fight, but see how like...
punch-ons.
Yeah. No, I'm not advocating for that, but I'm just saying when the thing happened, there was like 8 Manly blokes there. It was just like they just backed each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was sitting on Brookie Hill for that one. That was good.
Who was that against? Battle of
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
That's why a strong rivalry against Melbourne, especially
Ask Mark. He knows it all.
But
they just played by code and backed each other, and they were that tight on and off the field. So I think that's what made them such a good side.
Yeah, awesome. And that's the same with the Brums were at their best. They reinvented a bit how rugby was played, but they were super tight. A lot of guys weren't from Canberra. They were all from Sydney or Brisbane. There was a few great local talent, but it was like everyone lived in the same suburb. They spent all the time away from training together. So it's good to hear the Eagles are the same, sans the Battle of the Brookie bit. But as the Brums boys, none of us could punch very hard. We're a little bit soft.
I don't think they could punch either.
They'd still have a go. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so this ties into our first question. So I don't know if we've got any music for our list, our segment where we've got our listener question segment. So Glenn from Maruya asks, Jake, if you and all your brothers entered a ring, who would be the last man standing?
Oh, okay. If it's like...
Throw Mark in there as well, and your cousin. He's out first.
If it's like out and out grapple, whatever, I'll be very hard to beat. But if it's like boxing, punching on, I think Luke, who doesn't play footy, I think he'd flog us all because we cannot fight, and he's a bit of a boxer. So.
Is he the youngest or the?
No, Ben's the youngest. He's between Ben and Tom.
Okay. I thought Tom might have a bit of reach, being a bit tall, but he might have...
he's fullback,
He's a back, sorry, yeah. So
he won't go the distance, you know what I mean? Once I get this fat head in tight, I'll get the win.
All right. And then another one, Matt from Bermagui asks, Jake, what's doing with that headgear?
Yeah, fair call. I think after last year, as I said, I was willing to give everything a go, and I think I was silly if I didn't give it a go. There's
So
some
can you?
research
I haven't seen the headgear. This is just a question from Matt. What's the go? Was it? Yeah. Why is he?
No,
asking
it's a new product.
New design.
It's the headgears that are normally out there. Did you used to wear headgear?
I wear a Canterbury early in my career, and then I just started taping my ears just so I didn't get cauliflowers.
Yeah, so they're more, I reckon, they're good for cauliflowers, right? They protect your ears. They don't really have much padding, that sort of thing, right?
I still got concussion wearing them.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. They don't really do much, right? Whereas this one's got a lot of padding. There's some research behind it that it actually stops your brain accelerating as much, and it reduces the force. And it definitely, the padding, look, there'll be a photo of it. Look at the photo. There's lots of padding. There's little it
looks like
lots
an egg cup.
Yeah. It obviously, I'm not out there to win the fashion contest. I'm literally trying to protect my head. And after last year, exactly. After last year, I was silly not to give it a go. There's research behind it. I think it can make the game safer, and hopefully, by me wearing it, other people, might give it a go as well. Because
can I jump in on the concussion bit? How much of that is a conversation around concussion and stuff? Because Vix, who passed away, his family, there was a big news story where they blame CTE. So I can't. What's CTE? What's the? You're the scientist or the physiologist?
Yeah, Mark, you should know this.
What's CTE? Actually, something tendinopathy or something.
I'm having a mind blank as to what it actually stands for,
but it's something, I guess. Yeah, through my career,
head knocks.
Head knocks. Well, it's the result of lots of head knocks. Sorry, no, I'm just joking. How much do they talk about that in league, the head knock stuff? Because I guess in rugby circles, World Rugby is doing so much now that there is a lawsuit of a lot of past players trying to sue World Rugby. 2015, lots of past players in the NFL sued the NFL successfully, but there was it's that settled out of court, and so the NFL can't be sued anymore. Is there do the players feel the NRL's doing a lot to? Because I know people would get the shits. Well, in rugby, they're like fans are blowing up that the game. The refs are doing a lot to. Someone even tackles the collarbone. The ref saying that's too high, and so rugby's probably gone a long way to try and make the game really safe. But then you've got fans blowing up. I mean, where's rugby league at with that? And do the players talk about head knocks and worrying about that? Because it's something, I guess, for me as a retired player, I think my brain's all right. I know I've had 4 or 5 concussions through my life, a couple at school, a couple while I was playing, but I don't know. I worry sometimes maybe it's a boogeyman that I've got something going on in my brain that I can't do anything about, and actually makes me feel worse. I'd rather just sort of kind of be in denial about it. But is that something that you boys talk about, think about? CTE
we
stuff?
don't necessarily talk about potential problems down the line. I'll be honest with you, but the NRL is doing a great job with concussions. I'm not sure how much NRL you've watched lately, but any form of head knock that's identified by there's an independent doctor right on the side. They're watching every tackle, whatever. If they see something that is potentially a head knock, they signal to the ref. The ref stops the game. They get that person off, and he's assessed, right? And then they call it Category 1 and Category 2. So Category 1 is if the player, which I had 3 of last year, the player shows clear signs of concussion, like stumbles, falls over, whatever. They're just ruled out of the game, and then you're out for 11 days. There's no
minimum 11 days. Minimum 11 days.
So if you go in, the concussion where your eyes wobble, you fall back, and you're clearly concussed, you're straight off. You don't return that game, and you're out for 11 days. So you miss the next week. Then they've got the Category 2 where potentially concussion, you go off and you've already performed a SCAT test in the preseason. So they've got your baseline. You do the SCAT test then and there. You got 15 minutes, and then the doctor either fails you or passes you. And you can, if you fail, you're done. You're out for 11 days. If you pass, you can return to play after 15 minutes. So they're doing a really good job with that. I think they're really got the right spot also with the rules. There was a round, Mark would remember, I reckon 3 or 4 years ago, where they decided anything similar to rugby, anything remotely high was a penalty, and people were sin bin left, right, and centre. I think games are ending up 11-on-11, and fans were filthy. So I think they've got it really right with the way they adjudicate the games, and then they've got it right with how they monitor and manage the concussions. Because, if anyone looks like they might be concussed, they're often assessed, and if they are concussed, they're out for 11 days. So it's pretty pretty like black and white, which
Okay,
is
so
good.
they're doing, but you feel like they're being very proactive and they're doing a good job to look after you guys.
Yeah,
without killing
without
the
doubt.
spectacle of the game.
Without doubt, and there's independent doctors there too, because obviously, like with NRL teams, everyone's trying to get competitive advantage, and if a club representative was assessing something,
Yeah, they
you might
need him
turn a
back
blind eye
next
to
week for
something.
the grand final. Oh, yeah,
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's an independent doctor, no arguing.
Yeah.
And that's it. And they're looking at every tackle, so they know.
Just a bit more in terms of the concussion space. So the issue isn't how many concussions you've had during your career; it's if you recovered in that time.
How quick you recover, or
not so much how quick you recover, if you've actually recovered. So some of the research coming out is saying it can take up to 40 days for that concussion to recover, regardless if you're symptomatic or not. So that's why the research coming out these days is it's going to go a lot more into technology, particularly looking at eyes. Reflexive eye movements are a lot of indication of how the brain is recovering and how the brain is responding.
Haven't they got mouth guards out that measure the force as well?
Measuring
like
the G-force.
The G-force of actual collision. And
potentially how many G-forces are contributing to a concussion. But also, you think about rugby league, it's 11 days, and the research is showing it's 40 days. That's a big difference between the two. But also, you've got all the stakeholders. You've got people getting paid $1 million a year to play. You got sponsors. You got that.
Pressure.
There's a lot of pressure going on. Potentially, that's why it's only at 11 days, even though it can take up to 40 days. And you guys, even though you're not playing in 11 days, you're back training, potentially non-contact. So there's a lot of risk involved in contact sport. But you guys sign up knowing that risk as an elite sport, as a contact sport. So before you get your boots on, you know that's a risk.
That's the thing. I think, as you said, 40 days, 11 days, whatever. I think they're doing the best they can. The 11 days means you're out for the next week. That's sort of guaranteed. Once it start getting longer and longer, that people would get annoyed, as you said, the stakeholders or whatnot. But we do sign up for it. We understand what injuries could be involved, head collisions could be involved, that sort of thing. But it's just about, protecting yourself as best as possible. But it's definitely a risk going out there. But it's something
you don't know the past players think about that, because that's exactly what the lawsuit, the rugby lawsuit, the guys that played probably finished by maybe 2010, I think. So it's like late 90s, early 2000s or whatever that decade's called. They said, we knew when we retire our bodies would be in pieces, but we didn't know our brains would be. So that's what they're suing for. But
the issue there is the research in concussion has gone way further in the last 10, 15 years than what they knew then.
Back then,
Like back then, you would get a concussion and you would literally be back on the field that game.
They literally go. I'd see people like stumble and then they're on.
Martin
20
Lang.
seconds later.
I'd hate to think what Martin Lang's brain's at. No, Martin Lang, if you're listening, I love watching you play, mate. But or Dallas Johnson.
Even think about the Mark Carroll and Paul Harrigan hit, off the kickoff.
But
crazy collisions. And then back in those days, it was like you had to get up or you were soft.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Because they didn't know anything about it.
It doesn't even take a head knot. Like Nathan Brown running off the back fence, running into 4 players, the G-forces that he gets hit at, that can create a concussion whether he gets hit in the head or not. So
crazy. I didn't even think of that.
No, that's awesome to hear. That's awesome to hear the game's looking after you guys. Jake, last one before we let you go. Who would you like to see on the After Up pod next, or who should we interview?
Oh, geez. Okay. You know what? I want you to look into, because you're doing the suicide stuff. I love that sort of stuff. I'm an ambassador for Gotcha for Life. We actually played in the Gotcha for Life Cup yesterday. It's a great cause. So someone like a Gus Warland.
Yeah.
Or
who's that?
Gus Warland. He has Gotcha for Life, which is mental health sort of foundation. Or look up Find Your Feet, Tommy Herschel. You'll love some of his stuff. It'd be
awesome.
You'll love that. I reckon one of them two, if you can.
Right. Unreal. Done. Mark, any other things for Cuz? Or
Nah, all good. Just hopefully get a win next week.
Oh, tell me about it. That'd be good for the mental health too.
The result
you know
of the
what's
game
good for mental health? Just getting wins every week. Honestly, Panthers. If you're a Penrith Panther, you just literally have the best mental health ever.
And post-win beers is the best thing.
Oh, yeah, honestly, best thing ever.
Post-win beers. Well, beers in the change room after a game. Nothing better for your mental health than that. A good bonding session after a good win. Jake, you
So
bloody
Manly
legend.
win next week would be great.
Yeah, no, don't lose to the Roosters again. They're bad news. Yeah, Canberrans, we still that 2019 grand final every time the Roosters come to town. And then now what happened to the Broncos? You asked me what last time I watched league. I went to the Raiders Broncos game, that prelim final where
you won the game three times.
And it's the funniest. Reece Walsh was sitting, like warming up when he was goal kicking, and he'd just done the drinking the water out of his new toilet. And then all the fans, while he's warming up goal kicking, right from the sideline, they're all like, Miss, you drink piss. And then Walsh and then he black dotted every kick from the sideline, like full credit to him. And then he got yellow card. He comes back, all the fans are screaming at him. And then he went and just tore the house down. So full credit, Reece Walsh, if you're listening. Don't think he is, but Jake Trbojevic, mate, you're a bloody legend. Awesome to meet you. And if you're ever in Canberra, mate, hook us up. Love to chat you. You'll be at the pub. And, mate, thanks, Mark, for teeing this up.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jake.
Thanks for having us, guys. Appreciate it.
Legend. Go the Eagles.
Cheers. Go Manly.
Go Manly.
See yous.
Thanks, mate.